Maybe you've been making stuff online and you want your work to get more popular. I've been doing it for over a decade. I get it. I'm gonna make it. What even is making it? It's hard to not give weight to the number of followers an account has, or an amount of engagement you didn't get on something that you worked really hard on. Eventually, I had to redefine success for myself, and I think some humility can do us all some good. I want my work to reach people that it affects in the right ways. You can get a handful of reliable clients for freelance work with more certainty than you can ever expect to have something go viral and make money off of it. It means, in my case, within my limitations, doing odd jobs and contract gigs between whatever commissions I can pull in. Ad revenue and residual income that trickles through to support you is likely a pipe dream, unless you're committing to being known as one thing, and I wasn't ready for that. I don't know if I ever will be. We're supposed to change and grow, but we cannot capture that effectively in a thumbnail that's supposed to generate a high CTR, measured against 100 other attempts at being heard. So accepting that means allowing yourself time to experiment with mediums and content styles. Forgetting that I'm allowed to change things up has been something that stressed me out before, especially with my autobio Puddle comic. Autobios are not a running representation of who you are. Same for thumbnails, TikToks, Insta-feeds. We cannot be the same thing forever. And until I formally recognized that, it stressed me the hell out that I wasn't consistent, which is wild. I literally planned for my other webcomic, Living with a Monster, to change art styles between updates and acts as Nicole ages, because it makes sense. No one's art stays the same forever, yet I never stopped to consider that I should allow myself the same leniency, because your entry-level information for making content is consistency and timing and style. We've heard it all before. But there's a limit on how much you can actually stay within those lines while being authentic in any autobio media. People change. It'd be weird if you didn't. I learned honing a skill without a path is great at first, but there's a special art in selectively cutting corners on a project that you've been developing. Watching the workload diminish before you really get started as you combine and scrap things, being choosy about what you're rendering in a piece because only the focal points matter. I had trouble really grappling with less is more in the beginning, and I'm glad I didn't have a huge audience while I was lost in the sauce of oversized projects. Living with the Monster's final episode plan is 22 episodes. It started at 50. I would be working on it until I'm 40 at that rate. I've had a taste of a viral hit before. When my dog post blew up, I got an influx of views and the same questions over and over and over again. A lot of people call one of the dogs fair, which I don't like my art associated with that, but I'm limited in how much I can do to control the general public with my art once it's gotten out there. This includes theft and getting asked a bunch if I would sell the JPEG of my dogs to mint as an NFT, which absolutely not. No, I'm not minting NFTs of anything, let alone my first best friend. Get out of here, you vultures. When my bathroom video started getting recommended, it took me by surprise. I deleted transphobic comments and got tired of name calling, so I put the comments on approval only and got death threats in my email inbox, where I do business, so that sucked. Turns out when people hate you and you don't give them a place to be awful, sometimes they'll go out of their way to find an avenue to tell you what they really think of you, which sucks. And on top of it all, I'm kind of convinced the reason the video popped off so well back then was because the day I posted it, I checked my phone less than an hour later to a huge comment war. I deleted the comment at the top of the chain and unknowingly deleted almost 100 replies in the same thread that I didn't even get to read. But that first day, that comment war made YouTube think that that video was poppin' for discussion. I had a lot of impressionable teens suddenly contacting me asking me how to get their parents to accept their identity, which I am not a great example or role model for that, and just as I had to develop an understanding for what it meant to grieve the support I would never get, I can't articulate that as helpful, practical advice to a poor kid still in a bad situation. And it means ultimately I had to leave a lot of kids on red after telling them the bare bones of prioritize your safety. Even with the best intentions, any extended private contact between a minor and a creator that they like is going to, long run, do more harm than good. Keeping distance is vital for their safety. You do not want to risk that line blurring and someone getting hurt. But considering why my stuff hasn't found its audience yet, it made me delve into and research what drives impressions and engagement, and the more I learned, the less I wanted to play the game. I learned that I gotta drive engagement to get impressions, but it makes me willing to bet most of you don't comment much. I don't. I get social anxiety. I start a comment and critique it until there's nothing left. Backspace frenzy. It's why I only ask for people to say hello usually, but those fight war comments boost videos more than just great video does, which YouTube wants to boost videos that inspire controversy, which is weird, right? Now, I also learned that I made some mistakes in overworking and burning out, which meant learning my work cycle and preparing for the slump after I've gotten a lot done. Sometimes the drive of what you love making is enough to push you to get a lot done in a single focus zone sitting, and for some folk that's inevitable. So I've learned to plan around that and give myself the love and leniency to do so ahead of time. If I'd had to figure this out while managing a huge content schedule to keep numbers rolling, I probably would have crashed so hard that I would want to delete everything. But before you give in to that temptation information and delete everything. When I was starting out, I had the mindset of, why should I define my audience? I want everyone to like this. But I know now that's just not possible. The relief, the absolute breath of fresh air that comes with accepting that you cannot please everybody and you cannot reach everybody. If you do, you'd probably hate it. Have you ever seen when something goes trending? What happens when everyone is perceiving you for a day online? Don't look, actually. It's a shit show out there. Little known Puddle lore, I once had an Encyclopedia Dramatica article written about me when I was a teenager. Think about it as a hateful Wikipedia page about you with private photos and personal life details that you didn't consent to sharing, mixed in with a bunch of rumors, slurs, and a bunch of ways to hurt you, and then the links to all your social medias, full name, your home phone number, and address at the bottom. And at the time, I was just like making cringy stuff on YouTube that made me happy.
O judgment, thou art fled to brutish beasts, and men have lost their reason. Bear with me. My heart is in the coffin there with Caesar.
We struggle with development when we experience addiction, and those who experience fame young, having to learn life lessons and develop emotional maturity under a spotlight, all while not fully understanding what's being projected upon them by the rest of the world. And finding fame on social media and experiencing the addiction of eternal validation for a period of time and then either it grows or it doesn't, there's an experience of actual withdrawal when that validation stops coming. People, viewers, they come and go with what they like. They're not gonna like the same things forever. It's not personal. Even if it's fewer people this week than last week, despite what analytics insists, that's still enough to make me happy. If it means being a nobody forever, I think that's a pretty good deal. Okay, cool, that's it. Subscribe. Thanks, bye.